everyone. I'm Christine Daal from Fashion Angel Warrior. Thank you so very much for tuning in to our Facebook and Instagram Live. We go live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are running a sharing contest right now, so be sure that you're sharing this video on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, you have to hop on over to Facebook to share them. And you could win a free online course valued at over $300. So the most amount of shared videos that you share from episode number 40 to episode number 50. This is episode 47, so you've still got time left to enter the contest. You can win a free online course, and if you tag your friends, each friend that you tag will enter you in the contest, give you another entry in the contest. So don't forget to give me your hearts, give me your thumbs up as we're going along. I want to hear from you guys. Hey Phyllis, how are you? I want to hear from you guys, and I want to know what you want to hear, what you want to know, okay? These are for you. I do all of this for you, this 30 minutes every single week. So also, if you're on Instagram, this video will be deleted at the end of this broadcast, so make sure if you missed it or you want to go back, head on over to Facebook in the Fearless Fashionpreneur Facebook group, and you can watch all of the replays inside the Facebook group. All right, so our first question, we are doing a live Q&A tonight, so if you do have questions, start typing them in and I'll try to get to them. So our first question, I don't remember who this question came from, but the question is a good one. Why do pattern makers charge such a wide variety of prices? Okay, so pattern makers can charge whatever they want to charge, number one. Some pattern makers will charge by the hour. Some pattern makers will charge by the style. I would say typically they're charging by the style. I think it's a little odd when pattern makers charge by the hour. I don't like to pay for things by the hour because you don't really know how much it's going to end up costing you. So I would try to lock down a price per style, not per hour. Also, some pattern makers will include revisions in the price. Some will include the sample in the price. Others will bill separately for revisions and samples. So you want to know what's included in the price. Also keep in mind that sometimes it really just depends on the complexity of the style. So you might go to one manufacturer, they might say, oh, it's going to be this, and then you might go to another one, a pattern maker, they might charge you this, and then another one might charge you something else. It might be because for one, it's more complex for them. Maybe they've created a similar style before that they can kind of go off of, or maybe they haven't and that's why they're charging you more, because they're going to have to basically start over from the very beginning. And it also might depend on the actual size that you want to make your sample in. So I had a client one time that wanted to do a very custom sized dress, and so the first pattern maker that we went to said, no way, no how, we have to create a separate sloper. That's going to cost you extra. They gave her a quote of $850 to do the sloper and the first pattern. And then we went to a second pattern maker and they gave her a price of $450. So that's a huge difference. And really, at the end of the day, it was because the one pattern maker wanted to do it the right way, which honestly, the right way would be to create a whole new sloper. They wanted to do it the right way. And the other pattern maker didn't really care, and they were like, well, we can kind of finagle it and work off of it and, you know, make it work. So that's why she received such a huge difference in price. So make sure that you ask what's included when you're asking your pattern makers for pricing. Also keep in mind, sometimes it depends how experienced they are. If they're really experienced and they have a lot of experience, you're going to pay for that because it's worth something, okay? I'd much rather have a pattern maker that's got 30 years experience than a pattern maker that has 10 years experience, okay? And I will gladly pay for that because you will have less problems in fitting, you'll have less problems with your fabrication shrinking and all kinds of things like that, okay? Some of you are asking great questions, but they're going to go by too fast. So make sure at the end you type them in again, okay? Because I'm going to answer the questions I received first, and then I'll come back to your questions. So just type them in again because they're going really fast on the screen. Okay, also keep in mind, it depends on your deadline sometimes. If someone comes to me with a really ridiculous deadline, I'm definitely charging you more. So that will happen with pattern makers as well. And if you want to learn exactly how to work with a pattern maker, the exact questions you should be asking them when you're interviewing them so that you know whether they're a good pattern maker or not, or they're just ripping you off, then I suggest you take our Source Design Create course, which is part of our FSI, our Fashion Startup Intensive. You can go to fashionangelwarrior.com/design in order to sign up for that course. So it's Source Design Create. We talk all about how to work with pattern makers and so much more. We talk about fitting, we talk about costing. It's a really comprehensive class. It's over 90 minutes long. Okay. Sounds like chipmunks. I don't know. What are we talking about, ladies? Okay. Do you have templates on how to negotiate to get better deals without being too pushy? Negotiating is tricky. As a startup designer, you have no leg to stand on because you have nothing. You have no sales, you have no production, you haven't been working with anyone yet. So really you don't have the upper hand. So it's kind of difficult to negotiate stuff like that. You really need to be experienced when it comes to knowing what you should pay for something, which is why a lot of my clients come to me to help them with the negotiating process, because I don't recommend negotiating too much in the beginning. Depending on who you're working with, they'll get turned off and they won't want to work with you at all. So keep that in mind. Okay. Our next question comes from Danielle. Danielle wants to know, what's a good number of followers to have on Instagram and a good number of emails for crowdfunding? I'm trying to set goals. So it really all depends on how much you're actually looking to raise via crowdfunding, because the more you want to raise, the more followers you're going to need, the more people you're going to need. And this all comes down to the 1/3 rule and understanding that the first 1/3 of whatever you want to raise, so if you want to raise $30,000, the first 1/3 is going to come from your crowd. And then kind of figuring out the numbers, right? So understanding that the average conversion ratio is 3%, understanding that the average donation amount is about $50. So doing the numbers to kind of figure it out. So on average, I tell people it's good to have a following of around 10,000 across all of your social media platforms. That means if you were to add up your Instagram followers, your Facebook followers, your YouTube, your Twitter, your email marketing list, all of it, if you add it all up, it should be around 10,000 followers if you're looking to create around, or raise, I should say, around $30,000. So if you want to raise more than that, you should definitely have a bigger following. Okay, so you guys are having problems with sound on Instagram. I don't know what's going on. All I can say is go to Facebook. Instagram, I don't know why. Instagram has a lot of problems. Okay, so head on over to Facebook if you're having problems. Okay. Next question. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we do have an entire course, of course, on cracking the crowdfunding code. Go to fashionninjewelry.com/crowdfunding if you want to know the exact process on how to set up a successful crowdfunding campaign. We just had a client of ours raise over $20,000 via crowdfunding, so it's definitely doable. You guys are asking some great questions, but they're going really fast, so just keep that in mind because I'm going to have you retype them at the end. Okay, our next question comes from Doreen. Doreen wants to know, for Instagram, would you suggest that you put it as your business name or your own name? I've seen it both ways. Then I see people have it as their personal name with their business name underneath of it. So in my opinion, Doreen, it's very important that your profile bio attracts the right target customer and really draws them in. So I always suggest putting it as your business name. There are some exceptions to that. Of course, it depends on your situation. Like if you're a very famous person like Kim Kardashian, she's probably not putting it as her business name. She's going to put it as her personal name, or she's going to have 2 pages, one for business, one for personal. It also kind of depends on your following. So if you have a huge following on your personal page and now you're starting a business, you have 2 options. You could take your personal page and just convert it to a business page and put the business name with your personal name underneath if you'd like to do that. Or you could start a whole new personal page, a whole new business page, and then tell people on your personal page, hey, the party's happening over here on the business page, come follow me over here, and try to drag your followers over from your personal page. So it really all depends. At the end of the day, your business name needs to be on there, number 1, somewhere. I recommend it as your actual profile name. And number 2, you want to have a really great bio so that people will be attracted and they'll want to stay and actually follow your page, right? Because nobody wants to follow a page that's boring and has not so great pictures, right? So the pictures have to be really beautiful. You don't want a lot of personal stuff on the business page. You want to save the personal stuff for the personal page. This is, of course, if you are a product-based business I'm talking about, which most of you, I'm assuming, are. So just make sure if you're a service-based business, it's a little different. But for the most part, you're going to want to have your business name on there during, okay? And if you want more in-depth help with your Instagram profile, we do offer Instagram audits. It's a 1-hour in-depth audit of your Instagram profile to help you gain more followers, help you increase traffic to your website, and increase your sales. And we go over all kinds of things like exactly how to craft that perfect bio to attract your ideal customer. We talk about 27 different posting ideas that you can do, 25 of them of which you can do without having a product to sell. We talk about the 4 ways to skyrocket your engagement, how to develop the best 30 hashtags, and 5 crazy ways to grow a massive following overnight. So you can sign up for that by going to fashionninjawarrior.com/Instagram to sign up for the Instagram audit. Yeah, you guys are going to have to go over to Facebook. I'm sorry, I don't know why there's problems with the audio on Instagram. Okay, next question. Kate wants to know, I'm working as a social media consultant for a jewelry store in Manhattan. I'm trying to help them balance their advertising budget. They currently use Snap Retail, which is $59 a month, for subscription email, social media platform, and then Punchmark, which is $90 a month for website hosting. Seems really expensive to me. Squarespace is a lot cheaper. I wanted to see if you have any insight onto which platforms are optimal for a jewelry store and if there's a cheaper option that would provide them with the same services. So Kate, this is a little bit of a difficult question to answer without knowing exactly what this jewelry brand needs at the end of the day, service-wise. I can tell you I haven't heard of either of those, Snap Retail or Punchmark. I typically recommend Shopify for website hosting. It is one of the cheapest and easiest platforms to use. It's $30 a month. I also recommend using MailChimp for your email marketing. It is also one of the easiest and cheapest ways. They have plans starting for free, and I don't think you even have to pay until you get to around 2,000 subscribers. So again, I'd need to know how many subscribers they have on their email list to be able to compare apples to apples. And then as far as social media posting, I like to use Hootsuite. Again, they also have free plans, and even their paid plans are really affordable. So I would recommend those. However, I can't properly answer that question without knowing further information about the jewelry brand and which exact services they need and where they're at as far as email marketing and that sort of thing. So it really, really does depend on their needs. All right, so now we'll open it up to all the other questions. I know you guys were asking a lot of questions, so I'm gonna try to get to all of them. So Alexandrine, hey, how are you? Wants to know, do you recommend to have the same name for your company and your brand? You're gonna have to be more specific. Your company is your brand. How to verify that the brand name that I choose is efficient. So we talk about, you're in the FSI class, we talk about brand name and how to come up with your name for your brand / clothing line, clothing company inside the FSI course. So I give you a lot of great tips in there. I'm not sure what you mean by the same name for your company and your brand. Your company is your brand. Unless you're thinking of doing like a service-based business and a product-based business, like I need some more information there. Can you elaborate? I'm gonna see if I can go back to some of the other questions. Okay, Aisha wants to know, what type of images would you put on your business page when you have not launched your clothing line? I don't wanna fill up my page with stock photos. There's tons of things you can post. We talk about 27 different things you can post inside our social media digital marketing class called Mastering Digital Marketing. But one of them you can post is stuff from your industry. So you're all in the fashion industry, post trends, post colors of the year, post what's going on in the industry, the Met Gala, things like that. You can post things like inspirational quotes, right? What does your target customer like to do for fun? Is she a Starbucks girl or is she a Dunkin' Donuts girl? Does she like desserts? Does she like to take walks on the beach? Does she like to surf? Like, what does this woman really like to do at the end of the day? That's what you want to be posting on your Instagram profile. It needs to be about the lifestyle of your target customer, right? So if I'm a fitness brand and I'm doing a fitness clothing line, I can post about yoga. I can post about the best new healthy salad. I can post about whether quinoa is better than brown rice, right? So you get where I'm going with this. So that's what you want to be posting. It doesn't have to be pictures of you necessarily, unless you want it to be. But it doesn't have to be. You can always put behind the scenes stuff and obviously not even include yourself. So those are just 3 or 4 of the things that you can actually post, but there's over 25 things you can post without having a product to sell. So there's plenty of options. All right, let's see. I think I can scroll through. I can scroll through. Okay. Cleo asked a question. Where can I find a buying calendar so I'm in tune with designing for the correct season? We have one, Cleo. We have a buying calendar and a design calendar, both on our website. They're pretty affordable. I believe they're $15 each or something crazy like that. And you can buy both of them together for maybe $25. So we have those on the website, fashionandawarrior.com. Go to the shop. You will see them. Or you can go to forms and templates. I think it's called forms. Okay, let's see. Natasha. Everyone says there are guidelines for children's clothing. Where can I find the guidelines? I would start with the FTC website. That would be my best guess. Off the top of my head, I do not know. I'd have to look into that for you. But start with the FTC website. That's going to help you. Okay, Talisha. When purchasing overseas, what is the difference between EXM and FOB? Is one more desirable over the other when it comes to newer designers? I honestly have never heard of EXM. I would definitely ask them what that stands for. The 3 most common freight payment types that you'll see are FOB, CIF, and LDP. You want desirably LDP always, because it includes everything. Landed duty paid is what it stands for. That basically includes everything. You don't have to worry about freight. You don't have to worry about all that stuff, okay? FOB and LDP are basically less. So FOB means freight on board. LDP, I'm sorry, freight on board, and CIF means cost insurance freight. Basically, CIF includes the freight up to the port that you're shipping, and FOB includes none of that, basically. So I explained this in another Facebook Live that we did, Q&A Live that we did in more detail, and we talk about it also in the Source Design Create course when you're purchasing your fabrics. But I've never heard of EXM. I've never heard of that. I would ask them what that is. We also have an import coach. So for those of you who are importing from overseas, it's really important that you understand duty, freight, all of that stuff. You don't want to get hit over the head with all of these fees at the end of the day when you're bringing stuff in from overseas. Okay, Daniela, I asked your question already. Any other questions, guys? We have 5 minutes. Some of you asked questions in the beginning. I can't scroll back that far. So if you can ask them again, that would be great. Hey, everyone on Instagram. I don't know if you can hear me okay, but if not, you'll have to head on over to Facebook. Whoops. Okay. Oh, glad. I'm glad, Aisha, that was really efficient, really helpful. Okay, I'm looking for all the new questions. Daniela, Is the petite size quite different from regular when it comes to fit? Could you just fix the hem somehow? Oh no. Okay, so petite is way different than Missy sizing, all right? Petite sizing is not just length from the bottom, it's length all over, meaning your torso specifically, your rise of your pants, all of that stuff is technically smaller and shorter. This is why petite women have such a hard time finding clothing, because if they could just buy Missy clothing and hem it, they would. And sometimes you can get away with that with things like dresses. But if there's a definitive waist or pants have a crotch, right? Like all of that kind of stuff, like it's always going to be too long on them. And that's the problem. So with real petite sizing, it's not just the bottom. It's everywhere in between is actually proportionately smaller. Great question. Okay. Oh, Talisha says, sorry, it was EXW. Okay, I still don't know what EXW is. I would ask them to clarify. Maybe they're using a term that is very similar to FOB and CIF. I would ask them if you can have LDP prices. Okay. Alexandrine's going to explain her question here. For example, I work with a cosmetic company called Cosmetic Distribution Inc. They have different beauty brands. Erica Coloration. Got it. Okay. The company is an incorporation. Okay, so your company name, your incorporated name, your LLC name can be anything that you want at the end of the day. It doesn't have to be the brand name. Some people decide to make it a separate name because they might have multiple brands later down the line and they want to group everything under one company name. For most of you, you're probably not going to have multiple brands. Trust me, starting one brand is hard enough. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I would make it whatever you want to make it. So it doesn't really matter. If you want to call the company name, you know, fashion brand XYZ, and then the brand name is going to be, you know, clothing line ABC, like it doesn't matter. It really honestly doesn't matter at the end of the day. Okay, so at the moment you're thinking of launching one fashion brand, same name to my company and my fashion brand, or choose the same name for both. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're probably not going to have more than one brand. Okay, it's hard enough, trust me. How about mid-range versus regular? Daniela is asking. Daniela, can you be more specific? All right, ladies and gents, if we have any gents on, we've got only one more minute. Okay, Marissa has a question. Hi, my 11-year-old daughter started a fashion accessory business last year. She makes going out infinity scarves and hair accessories. Her price range $50 and up for scarves, $20 to $30 for hair accessories. What type of events do you recommend that she target to sell her products? She has a pop-up event this Saturday at a day spa. So I'd need more information, Marissa, on your daughter. And I'd want to talk to her specifically about her pricing to make sure that she's really actually got the correct markup inside these things. I'd also want to look at her social media following and all of that stuff before I recommend what ways she should be marketing. So pop-ups are a great way to start. But again, I'd want to make sure that she's actually making the correct amount of profit and that she has plans on scaling this, because sewing everything yourself is not sustainable and you can't actually go forever that way. So last forever that way. So you eventually want to find a manufacturer to produce your products, so on and so forth. All right, everyone, I'm not going to have time for the rest of your questions, but I promise I will answer them on the next live Q&A that we do. A couple of announcements. We are doing a free masterclass tomorrow called The Top 14 Mistakes Designers Make and How to Avoid Them. You can sign up by going to fashionninjawarrior.com/14mistakes. Also, our best-selling Fashion Startup Intensive group coaching program enrollment is open and class starts tomorrow. So if you've been on the fence, we only have a few spots left. You definitely want to sign up for that. Go to fashionninjawarrior.com/FSI. This is the last class we will be holding. The course will be changing going forward. It's not going to include all the wonderful things it includes right now, so you definitely don't want to wait. Also, next week, our Facebook Live will be canceled. I will be traveling. My husband and I are taking a lovely baby moon. Thanks, Felicia. We're taking a little baby moon to Europe, so I will be away enjoying myself, which a much needed break. But we will be back with our Facebook Live in 2 weeks, so tune in then Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys, love you. Talk to you later. Bye.